Liquid's turn to ban.
Liquid versus NiP, the first game 3 we've had of the DAC European qualifiers, and a little bit surprising that it's this series that offers a 1-to-1 and heads into a game 3, because initially we would have expected Team Liquid. We talked about it yesterday. They were the favorite of Group B, right, David?
Yeah, I think it was pretty clear, like based on the recent results, they were the team to look out for.
Radiant team ban.
This lineup looks to be the weakest of the various iterations of Synderen's team, but they're able to put a game 2 win over Liquid like that. Maybe on paper is just that, only on paper, and in execution this team can be a whole lot more.
Yeah, for you, did NiP like kind of outperform your expectations in that game 2, or did Liquid kind of not live up to our expectations, I guess?
For me, I think it was a combination of both. I mean, we definitely hit on Miracle quite a bit. That Miracle performance probably wasn't what we were used to seeing. But I think Liquid as a whole, there was plenty of missed opportunities, especially given, I think the start was pretty good, right? We talked about how Miracle got really aggressive that mid play, but we also had at the same time Mind Control picking up a solo kill on Era. We had the bottom tier 1 tower being taken out. That even with that play, everything still looked on point for Liquid, but then it came to execution in some of these team fights, and it seemed like some things were off. Some of the initiations weren't there. From Mind Control, there was that mid lane fight that happened that was, I think, a potential turning point for Liquid rather early on, where things started spiraling against them, and then they had this opportunity with the BKB Dura Ranger and this Blink Epicenter in, but they didn't really connect. And part of that is Liquid failing to perform, but part of that is also Ninjas of Pyjamas playing well in those team fights. I think spacing was something that they did very well for themselves a lot of the fights.
Yeah, I think there was some element of like the old Boston Major Liquid showing up, whereas like they never did well with the Drow Luna strats. For a while they were putting Kuro onto those carry heroes just because they felt like him as leader and captain of the team could help control the game better through that. But I think as much credit goes to NiP, because they were really disrupting the flow of the game, initiating really well, preventing Liquid's push timings from actually happening. So we'll see how they adjust here in Game 3. Similar-ish stuff from NiP. I mean, going very early on into the Invoker, wanting to make sure they get up that key hero for Quake, but for Liquid, Coddled Brewmaster. Disruptive hero in the Brewmaster, something that can initiate and start fights well for them. And Coddle's one of those... I mean, Coddle's one of those supports which has been seeing a lot of success when it's played over this current patch.
Yeah, it does seem, especially certain teams, really like that. What was that series yesterday? It was Alliance versus Odd9.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Otto was one of the preferred heroes for those teams. Seems like some teams really do have the Keeper of Light in this patch, and it provides the right kind of things, right? It gives you pushing power from a support, which usually have wave clear. It gives you some really formidable team fights at times. If you're able to get the right kind of Illuminate Blast, single Illuminate Blast, well placed, can actually change the entire engagement. It gives you some later game counters and control through Blinding Light and Chakra Magic. And I think probably one of the most important aspects, right, is the opportunity to split push with heroes that normally would not be able to, thanks to that recall.
Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely very strategically really shuts down a lot of picks. The Blinding Light stops a lot of those heavy right-clicking carries, and yeah, the recall can be very important in certain styles of gameplay, and that's something which Miracle is can be very split push heavy when he's playing a hero that he thinks can get away with it. So being able to recall him into a fight, it means that hero is not split pushing, can actually do more on the map. Often if you've got that carry split pushing, the rest of the team's sitting around like, well, I guess we'll just hug our tower and wait till we know what the enemy's doing. But you can actually make aggressive plays when you've got that Coddle to recall your carry in. So that's something which a Brewmaster team wants to do. They want to be kind of smoking up, looking for that initiation, get the Brewmaster split, and then bring in that big hard hitter.
Kind of the theory crafting that we did around Wisp as well in 7.0, a combination of body runes and also the idea that if we're going to be doing a lot of 5-manning, a lot of team fighting, it would behoove you to be able to have certain heroes that'll still allow you to split push while being able to maintain that 5-man presence. And, we've seen plenty of other mobile heroes be picked up in part because of that, but it seems like Wisp has kind of fallen short in that regard, and Keeper of Light been the big win. And Rubik is going to be the third pick up
10
after the
seconds
Weaver
remaining.
pick from Pyjamas. Again, very similar lineup
5
to
seconds
game
remaining.
2 with Nyx Assassin opt out. I'm presuming into the off lane
Reserve
position,
time.
but who knows? Maybe it's a Nyx Assassin support, and we'll still.
Yeah, some slight flexibility there if they feel like there's some kind of key hero they want to pair up for the offlane, like a Dark Sick kind of pick could kind of stand out as one of the more team fight lane pressuring heroes that is still available that they may want to run the offlane, but they'll definitely be a bit greedy at having a Nyx support. Even against the Coddle Illuminate, it can be very good.
Disruptor.
Liquid's
Whoop.
turn to
That's fine. We'll just talk you through it.
10 seconds remaining.
It's strong lanes, I guess, is the one thing. They've got okay chase with like a Weaver to help like get the vision to glimpse people back, but immediately Liquid get a core that isn't too scared of the glimpse, and the Juggernaut also a hero with some pushing power, not like amazing in itself, but at least has that guaranteed slow siege with the Blade Fury, right click down buildings, healing ward to help sustain your push. I do imagine that whatever the secondary core to go with this, probably the Miracle hero is also going to have some good carry potential as well. They seem to like running both Miracle and Matu on good late game heroes.
Reserve time. Liquid's turn to ban.
Yeah.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ursa ban. They're thinking, okay, they're expecting the Trixie offlane Weaver, the 4th position Nyx, and we've seen both Era and Trixie play the Weaver in this series, so it could be either. I think Trixie was very effective last game on that Weaver. He was often in deep positions, scouting out smoke ganks. He was getting the information for his team. Like sometimes he'd die first in a fight and not do much more than throw out a swarm, but just for the sheer scouting information he got his team, he was very useful. But similarly, Nyx does the same thing with Vendetta, so it's not like you have to play that Weaver in a similar role this game necessarily. So I'm not a big fan of the 4 position Nyx Assassin. Like, it's just a hero that doesn't do enough in the early game laning stage. He doesn't roam all that well. He just kind of harasses a bit whichever lane he goes to until he hits level 6, and he can ideally start ganking, but even then he doesn't really have the mana pool if he hasn't farmed Arcane Boots. So I think the 4 position Nyx can be hard to play. Interesting. So like
Actually,
yeah.
10 seconds remaining.
I saw a lot of TA at the start of the patch. I remember Sumail played it like going back to like that China top tournament, which was one of the first tournaments on this patch. He played like every game. Dire side TA abused the Ancients being right next to that mid lane tier 1 tower to farm the Ancients, shrine up when he needed. Like he was playing this super farming efficient TA style, and it just kind of fell off as a pick. It felt like it was winning most of the games I was seeing it played, especially on the Dire side, but a hero that Miracle is gonna to bring back in this game.
You know, I'm kind of down with a safe lane Weaver now because of that Templar Assassin. There is not a dramatic amount of control offered by Liquid's team, and a faster Lincoln's would prevent most of that control, right?
10 seconds remaining.
Makra or Analeak. Those kind of issues can be dealt with. So yeah, they're going to go for it. They're going to go ahead and run the Nyx Assassin off lane, turn this into a safe lane Weaver as opposed to the off lane Weaver that we saw last game, and get a really big controlling hero, one that has not been seen a whole lot, a Bane.
Yeah, so when we talk about limited mana lockdown, Bane's another hero that can kind of take advantage of that. There is an easy steal in the Fiend script for Rubik, but I mean, if you somehow get Rubik out of the picture, I mean, Bane can easily lock down a Templar Assassin with grip, and Feeble can be very effective this game, as can the Nightmare. So this is a pretty good game to be playing Bane. Don't really have, like, they've kind of got two traditional 5-position supports in Bane and Disruptor, but I don't think that's necessarily an issue for them, based on how well the Invoker can scale. I think the thing is that Era needs to do more than he did in his Game 1 Weaver. The Game 1 Weaver, he went very defensive with his items, had both Lincolns and BKB. I think he needs to be doing a bit more damage output. There isn't control from him. When there's nothing really that threatens you, you shouldn't be going these defensive items. You should be going and trying to take advantage of that by going for that like Deso type build.
Are you thinking Deso first up, or would you like to see the Lincolns and the straight Deso? Obviously, we want a different build from last game.
Yeah, I think the overall like idea, maybe you get one safe item like a Dragon Lance or something, so you get a bit of HP and stats into the Desolator, or you go like the Perseverance into the Desolator, so you at least have that HP mana regen. But I think the general idea is that you at least one of his first two main items, like to me, should be something with some damage output.
I'm with you on the Dragon Lance. I think I'd like to see the Ring of Aquila, Dragon Lance, and then Deso build. You've got some regen, you've got some decent stats there, and then you've got that big damage output, which is particularly threatened to some of these heroes. If they can get the control on Brewmaster, blow him up before he gets off his ultimate, that is going to be key to many of the team fights. But there's also the Juggernaut, whose Blade Fury can actually play against him. If he ends up going into a fight, Blade Fury, and all of a sudden there's this swarm of physical damage that is threatening his life, he can't actually get the Omni Slash off because he's still spinning. Era ends up running into GH and Mind Control, takes a smidge of damage from that one. Trixie running back from Kuro and Matu, who are looking to be able to chase him down. Turn around, goes for the stun, but a spin is already there. We'll be able to pick up the Bounty Rune, steals that one away, and gets a lot of damage in return, but an early TP. What? How did Synderen have a TP already? Sunstrike coming in. Okay, that didn't really seem to really hit the mark, but with the stun, it is going to be enough damage. First blood goes to Synderen, and the second Bounty Rune will be picked up by Kuro, but still going to get a lot of damage on Kuro during this whole entire time.
Damn, Synderen with the level 1 TP. The Shrine, that is a play I have not seen happen on this new patch, but it makes total sense. They contest that. For teams who contest the Bounty Runes by your Shrine, go and TP in and punish them for it, and Synderen, that's exactly what he does there. Era had the similar idea. He wanted to try and contest the enemy one, but as soon as he ran to those Tiru sides against it, but good start getting the first blood for NiP.
So a dual lane here of a Brewmaster and Keeper of the Light. I think this is one of the more powerful duos that we don't really expect to see a whole lot, but the combination of claps thanks to Chakra Magic, that is going to allow Mind Control a decent amount of laning phase presence. We'll see if it's enough to deal with the Weaver Disruptor. Yep. Meanwhile, in mid, Synderen is going to be poking his head in here against Miracle, trying to get some out. Obviously, he doesn't have Nightmare yet, so real control, just a bit of harassment.
And I think that's where Liquid, they know that Bane TP top and can't help out this bottom lane. That's where they really want to commit to this bottom dual lane, almost finding Era with enough damage from that Illuminate, but he will salve following. But he's getting a lot of pressure onto him down bottom. Meanwhile, Mind Control is getting good farm and CS with the help of the Keeper.
Trixie may be dead here. He's going to go for the TP out underneath the Blade Fury. Nicely played. Does manage to get out, but it kicks him all the way back to base. Yeah, it seems like this is also another one of the big things about the Keeper of the Light's huge amount of laning phase presence against dual or tri-lanes. So if you're dealing aggro tri-lane, it works there, but most of the time it's going to be in an aggro dual lane against the enemy's safe lane. The Illuminate Blast spamming seem to have such a large impact.
Yeah, he's been stacking up his neutrals a little bit. He's going to continue to put pressure down this bottom lane, secure the free farm for the Brewmaster. So laning-wise, it does feel like a pretty good setup for Liquid. Even not getting that kill to lane, just forcing the Nyx off the lane means they are continuing to free farm. Well, that's
haste runes. And he's got a knack for them.
TP out will not be possible to get cancelled.
Did you know that, by the way, that healing salves don't get canceled by tower shots anymore?
Yeah.
For some reason, that slipped my mind, and I had it happen at a pub, and I was just just the other day, and I was like, wow, what the hell? Trixie going to be gone on here for another Blade Fury, big nuke damage, but Matu doesn't actually continue the chase there as the sleep goes on to Kuro and reveals his position.
The first time it happened to me in a pub where I got tower dived, killed, and the guy was gonna die as well, but he then salves up while tower hitting me, I was so angry. Like,
Oh,
I was
that's
like,
the
"What
exact
is
same
this
thing
new
happened to
patch?"
me. I had this
Yeah.
crazy ass PA, and he just like tower dived with healing salves all day, and I was just like, oh, good lord.
Yeah.
Let's see. How's this laning phase really matching up, though? Because it seems like Mind Control is going to be brought back here. If they can actually get this kill, it'll be big, because Mind Control's been getting a lot out of this laning phase so far. He's level 4, but it looks like they will catch him. Era gets the Shukuchi on him. A little bit of blast damage in return, but they do manage to claim that kill for Era. And that kill is definitely needed. He's been suffering a bit in CS, especially in comparison to that offlaner. Mind Control was sitting at 17-1.
This CS chart is incredibly dire side favored. 3 top CSs are all on the dire cores, and then the supports are even getting CS. Rubik 12. Coddle's about to pick up like another 6 or 7 from this neutral stack, so these supports are getting just as much as the cores in some ways. The kills do even things up, so it's not like we're seeing a big farm advantage going Liquid's way, but it does really tell a tale of a very laning stage advantage for Liquid that NiP feel pressured to make up for through support rotations.
The big rotations is Syndrin, and where he chooses to be. Last rotation was catching out Mind Control bottom lane. It looks like they're going to try and do so again. As a result, he's managed to pick himself up Arcane Boots already. He's going to put those to good use here as another glimpse goes down. They get the bugs on a Mind Control. And again, it looks like he should die here with a sleep. On to GH. They might be able to get the extra kill. The Sun Strike, and that is a twofer. 4-0 now for NiP, upsetting the static laning phase that was in for Liquid by being able to get these kills thanks to Syndrin's roam.
Yeah, that's punishing the greed, and that's what they've got to do. Syndrin has been very impressive on this Bane, moving all over the map. He's been involved in all 4 of these kills so far, and it feels like he has been in every single lane. He started off getting the kill at the Shrine, he helped out top, he's been towards the mid lane to harass Miracle some. Now on the bottom lane he's got those kills, so very important they don't let this Brewmaster just free farm towards his level 6 and like Blink Dagger or whatever items he wants to go for. Make it so that he feels more like a true offlaner, getting punished a little bit here and there, and that's exactly what has happened now thanks to Synd.
I wonder how much NiP have, or maybe Syndrin in particular, have watched Team Secret. Because this is kind of, for me anyway, reminiscent of Secret's performance with Puppey. He's usually, when he's placed on those roamers, he seems to have a very high impact in lanes, and Syndrin seems to have adopted a similar story here with its own unique flavor, with the Bane pickup. Definitely.
Yeah.
An attempted go here onto Miracle. They've got the glimpse in place. They've got the pullback of the Sentry. They've got Trixie here as well to lend up the extra stun necessary to land the Sunstrike. And that will be all from Miracle in this lane. 5-0 now for Ninjas the Pyjamas in this Game 3 against Liquid.
And that's now kills across all 3 lanes. So like you talk about the dire side having a CS advantage in, as all 3 cores, well each of those cores has now died and lost most of that farm advantage outside of the Juggernaut, who has died but is still maintaining pretty decent farm lead on his counterparts. But all in all, I think NiP have done a great job of equalizing things here. This top tower, though, is something they may get punished going for. Yeah.
Oh, that pure damage blowing him up. I mean, that's it's 6.5 minutes in, and Trixie already has his level 6. You don't expect that from the next assassin, and Matu very clearly got caught out by it.
Yeah, that's level 6, and he got a bit greedy with the tower perhaps as well, but very nicely played. NiP are playing some pristine Dota so far here in game number 3, and looking for more at this mid lane. Miracle is perhaps caught again. The TP's coming in. They're just going to keep on rotating.
They really are. They're pulling back. They bring all these heroes. NiP, they seem to have a knack for 4 or 5 manning so early onto the game. I mean, we know this is a 5-man patch for sure, but nobody expects it. You're bringing your offlaner to the mid lane at 5 and 7 minutes in. You know, that's just not really done. But here, Ninjas the Pyjamas shutting down Miracle early, keeping notably that's a Templar assassin. That's kind of a snowballing hero, right? And they're keeping him down in laning phase, a laning phase that he should win against an Invoker.
Yeah, their TP usage has been like, I feel like they've used more TPs in the first 8 minutes of this game than you'll almost ever see. They're just constantly moving, catching Liquid completely off guard. And they'll be ready to go for some more kills again soon. Trixie's going to have another Vendetta and possibly making the call like, hey, I want to go for a pick-off. We've got the Sunstrike ready. The Invoker with the Nyx Assassin's a great duo. Nyx finds anyone. He's got that extra burst dagger, and it's kind of like the equivalent of the gimmicky Dagon Nyx build, except you don't actually have to build a Dagon.
Well, Matu, he definitely knows he's been scouted out now. That ward, it's not been up for too long. It still has another 3.5 minutes, but it may just be countered. As very clearly Matumba Man's rotation was scouted out as he's hit by the Sunstrike. They seem to see what NiP are up to. They're finally trying to change up the game by grouping up themselves, but NiP have the information and they may try and still contest. They've got 4 heroes near this mid lane. They look for Trixie to make the initiation off of his Vendetta.
There's a sentry. He hasn't walked inside.
Nice double stun. And with the meteor over the top of the deafening blast, they might just be able to get Miracle as well. His refraction is already down. Oh, they catch Matumba Man. That's going to be the target with the Fiend's Grip. A nice blinding light. A glimpse back. Miracle's going to be caught as well. Mind Control's trying to put a stop to this one, but Miracle, he still ends up going down. Mind Control's being controlled up by the sleep. He couldn't even get off the ultimate, which means no real good turnaround kills either. Liquid, they just got demolished.
That is such a good play from Trixie. That Sentry Ward is there, and he doesn't even go for the Vendetta hit. He just lines up an Impale from next to the tower. He knows there's no Sentry Ward, like, in range of the tower, because otherwise he would see it. So he goes for the safe play, the safe 2. Perhaps it could have been a 3-man Impale, but he hit the setup that let the Invoker get the Meteor off, the grip onto the TA. That was such a good setup from him, not going for the greedy move, going for the Vendetta damage, and just making sure that Liquid get punished for that aggression.
Oh, insult to injury. Miracle's back to base. Gonna have to take the long walk of shame. All lane. Liquid are actually gonna go for a 3-man poke here. Not to be shut down too hard. They're still gonna try and maintain some level of aggression with Matu yet to have used his Omni Slash, and same goes with Mind Control and his Primal Split. So they still have plenty of opportunities to win a fight. It's just a question of whether or not they can find the right kind of initiation here.
They really want to kill Quick though. He's that big snowballing carry that they haven't been finding a way to deal with, and looks like they do know where he is.
But how can they close that gap? They really can't, not against the tornado
as well.
And Cinderin.
Yeah.
All right. Kuro made get him.
Classic Cinderin roll. Tank the smoke gank for the team. Miracle could be in trouble here to a Sunstrike.
Yeah, he's been farming away these Ancients of Trixie. Actually, the refraction just came up. They're still going to be able to get the Sunstrike on him, and Miracle may be in trouble. He pops the Shrine, turns Trixie. All right, they get the Telekinesis, and that will mean death, I do believe. Oh, instead of dying, actually picks up the kill on, let's be honest, just a little bit of fortuitous timing.
Yeah, just that. It was very fortuitous for him. I mean, I guess Nyx doesn't quite know when that refraction recast is coming online, and Miracle just wants to have it up at all times when you're against the Nyx Assassin. So maybe some TAs there would have not recast it until later on, but yeah, very, very heads-up play and a bit of luck as well going his way.
Liquid trying to keep their offlane tower. It seems Kuro not getting caught by that kinetic field, so the Static Storm completely whiffing there.
Not the outcome he was hoping for. Error with the Helm of the Dominator thing. We talked about what's the build going to be on the Weaver. This is not an item we really considered, but it is an item that seems to be effective regardless of the game on any core hero.
It does. Decent stats, that creep. I mean, how annoying is it? You go for this 1200 HP creep all the time, and you get, even if you do get it, right? Say he doesn't Helm a Dominator a different creep. You see, say you do get it. Say it's a Purge creep. It's like 12 gold. You expend that much to get 12 gold. It's just awful.
God. And yeah, they're just running around the map with 425 movement speed, like faster than most heroes.
It just turned nighttime. I think that actually cost Cinder in the Fiend's Grip.
Oh, was he? He was looking for the Jugget mid.
Yeah, he was halfway through the animation and it went dark.
Oh.
And he lost the vision. That's rough. Kuro's got Brain Sap, so he did have the opportunity to get a lot of quick burst onto Era. They could have Telekinesis, Omni Slash, and Brain Sap. They might have brought him down for the Telekinesis, and Era is away before all that can occur.
It looked like they were trying to set up bottom lane with that Observer Sentry, or even trying to steal the Shikuchi, but it's in a good position here, and I think being warned of that Sentry Ward in lane as well. Oh, Perfect.
Okay, that isn't going to be much, but the Static Storm will mean a lot. Liquid, they're going to lose so many here. 1, 2, and make it 3. Qualifier picks up one of them, making his a mega kill streak, so even the mid lane farmer is able to take some action out of that bottom lane engagement. I actually was following, like, Synderen seemed to be in a bit of trouble before he got an Invis rune. How did they set that one up? A 3-man
Trixie,
Static Storm.
3-man Impale from Vendetta. Again, it was like this.
Wow.
He has been so good this game on the Nyx Assassin. He was just hiding just out of range of the Sentry Ward, knowing that it was in the lane. Hits the 3-man Impale into Static Storm Kinetic Field, and Liquid just get demolished.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
That was very, very good. I mean, Trixie making a good case that he could be a potential upgrade from the former offlaner in Kezu.
Yeah.
He
this
just played
Nyx
some
Assassin.
insane play.
He really does show you that the Vendetta hit, it don't mean much. You've got teamwork, you should just straight up impale out of Vendetta as he set his team up for so many opportunities.
Yeah.
Multi-hero impales. I mean, that hero's hard enough to land.
He set up a Carapace on the GH here at bottom lane and immediately charged forward trying to cat Coddle, but GH was far enough back that he doesn't get caught.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The blast will send Air back. He came, he is going to be working towards that Lincoln item after the Ring of Aquila and Qualifier has himself Hanamitis level 12 and a Yule Scepter already. So he's got a potential wombo combo to lay down on Miracle at any point in time. And he keeps on doing this. This is something that I've seen Qualifier do that I really haven't seen any other Invokers do consistently, which is he seems to kind of scout things out with his Sunstrike a lot more than anybody else.
And I guess there's enough ward positions that doesn't totally tell where your ward positioning is, because like it may bait out sentry wards onto the cliff, or it may bait out sentry wards where you're throwing the Sunstrike, so it doesn't really cost you too much. And if it lands, getting a hero down to half HP can potentially stop them going aggressive. It may force them to back off, heal up, so it can put you into maybe a better position strategically.
Thought he was going to be able to get a stun on Miracle underneath
Don't
his
mind.
tower. May still try for it here.
Oh.
Maybe a glimpse back. Is down there. Not to try and lay down some vision and make a play. Probably for the best, though. They are running low a little bit on time because Mind Control is about to pick up his Blink Dagger, and that will be a very large upgrade for Liquid when it comes to...
Yeah, we'll see how good Hani can be as far as getting the fast fingers on the Static Storms then, but they're not done. They're still going on Miracle.
Fresh Refraction still laid out, but they do have the Static Storm. Miracle pops the haste, but it's not enough to be able to get out of that kinetic field. They may still be able to get this kill. Never mind, Miracle's away, and Trixie's in some serious trouble. Synderen fights it out with 2 heroes, while Trixie having to do something similar here. Dodges the blast, gets a double impale. Synderen's definitely dead, but Trixie's still making his case. He's still alive and is going to buy his team. A lot of times, Sunstrike stolen out by GH, barely misses, but finally, they will bring Trixie down. Really, there wasn't much hope for escape, just a lot of delay.
Yeah, just not enough follow-up damage with the refraction blocking. Hail, the mana burn, there wasn't really anything else. Like the Sunstrike is all that there was as far as damage output onto the TA there, and they've still got Primal Split here, so Liquid can maintain their aggression. They've taken the enemy Ancients, they're setting up kind of very aggressively as if they want to jump and take another team fight around this mid lane. Problem is the same Radiant Observer Ward continues to scout a lot, but
Era, is he actually going to get bursted down? No, time lapse goes out just in time. Kuro a little bit slow there with the Sunstrike. And so he misses out. Blinding Light helping Kuro out. Missed Impale this time around from Trixie. Kuro actually seals it, throws it out real quickly, knows he's going to be dying, and he sure does. Bean Script laid out, but a Yule's actually Storm Panda using the Tornado to stop that channel, and that means Matu is free to beat down Synderen. Era picks up that healing ward, looks to pick up one of the supports in the back line while the rest of Liquid stream forward, trying to grab Hani. Static Storm laid out, trying to do whatever damage he can. Maybe with the Meteor Blast, they can get something. Trixie comes in. Miracle's low, but he pops a fresh refraction. They're going to go for Matu instead, who's been stunned up, but still on half HP. I'm not sure how they could possibly bring him down with all this extra villain right now. Era's gonna go for it anyway. Sunstrike, is it on point? No, he gets a little bit of body block and misses out. Now Matu turns, spin to win on top of Trixie. He's gonna be able to pick up that kill. And Era locked in by the mana leak, doesn't have a time lapse away, has the magic wand charges, but cannot get out Liquid. Strike back big time, making a score that was once 10-3, now 14-9, and a potential Aegis in their hands as well.
Yeah, and these kills are like at the key time of the game. Like getting those early game kills is nice, but getting the mid game kills which secure you Roshan, which are on high value targets, make a much bigger difference.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
And
Yeah,
this is
will be countered real quickly before the Observer Ward of Liquids is taken out. But either way, that Observer Ward did its job. It helped them secure Roshan. The Aegis is now in the hands of Miracle.
yeah, and they took that fight with like a Midas TA. It's not like Miracle's particularly team fight ready. He's got decent levels, like he's maxed out all his skills and all that, but he hasn't got anything in the way of items just yet. They just outmaneuvered NiP. I mean, small things like the body block making that Sunstrike miss is something which can really make a big difference as well. So this game will quickly turn into a let's play for the Qualifier late game Invoker. He's level 14, he is free farming, so we'll see if he can have the same impact he did in the previous game, because NiP are going to be set back quite a lot by that failed fight there, but potentially looking to set up a top lane.
He is going to be met pound for pound, though. Nice pick up there on GH by Trixie and Qualifier. Miracle, him picking up Hand of Midas means that he is keeping pace a bit with Invoker's net worth. He has a Hand of Midas as well as the Desolator now. And a Blink Dagger, which is sure to be pretty quick behind this Deso, because there looks like to be able to take a tier 2 no problem.
Yeah, looks like Sind and Hani hoping for a straggler to like walk down the lane with a TP in, not going to be so fortunate, and will have to just get themselves back home. But tier 2 for tier 2, if NiP can get this one tier 2, would be a decent trade. They may just be forced back. Liquid could easily just say let's keep them honest and pressure the high ground, force TPs back, but instead GH is looking to defend this bottom lane for now. Liquid
They're kind of doing
no rush.
neither. They're not mass rotating. Now a couple of heroes coming back. Angelic they'll slow on to Era, but he doesn't care. Chi is go, and Kuro not going to be able to catch the Nyx either. Getting threatened a bit. Does have his spin, but Synderen might be able to get the Fiend's Grip, stopping all of that. Matu thought he could rely on the spin to be able to get out of this one, but can't actually make it out. The Fiend's Grip holds him in place. Now a silence, asleep now on a Miracle. They can set up the stun combination. He's already lost all of his refraction charges with the Centaur's stun. They hold him in place long enough. He has the Haste Rune still with the help of Kuro. He will manage to get out. Maybe Kuro can get out too with the Shukuchi. Now the jump in. Mind control. Not going to be stunned up by Trixie fast enough. Managed to get off his ultimate and will get the control onto the fellow offlaner of NiP, it looks like. Beginning to make his distance. He actually tried to purge off that invis. Not going to happen. Miracle is in a war here with Qualifier right now. He's out of refraction charges. Still has that Aegis to be able to fall back on. Qualifier going to give up the kill. It's going to be Era caught in by the telekinesis. They blow him up with a big blast from GH. Now Synderen's going to be caught as well. He gets the sleep on a Miracle, but it won't be able to set up much with NiP mostly dead or too far away to be able to assist. Another win for Liquid.
Yeah, just good aggression around the Aegis, and having the Static Storm there. That's the first time I've seen a Static Storm used from the Centaur. It actually seemed like a decent play. It stopped the Juggernaut from using his Centaur to stomp the Fiend Script. If he got that stomp off, potentially he escapes using a Blade Fury or an Omni Slash, but the result is Liquid with the Aegis can just constantly die for kills.
Oh, that Sunstrike's going to be split between the two, and that means Mind Control will actually end up going down there. Another decent stun by Trixie, but the Disruptor is still caught out of place well enough that
It's like
Liquid are
Miracle
gonna be able to take one.
he just keeps blocking key spell damage with the Refraction. It feels like a lot of spells are being wasted on it. I mean, it's very hard to break the Refraction. They haven't got the best heroes to do so outside of maybe the Weaver Swarm, and you can't just throw the Swarm and expect it to break Refraction. Miracle will easily kill the Beetle, so this is proven to be very difficult to deal with this late TA pick in the draft. And even though Miracle had a rough start getting ganked and picked off a few times, now that he's managed to kind of salvage his early game, go back for the Midas, get some levels, get a Blink and Desolator, he is suddenly the toughest hero to deal with.
Liquid are going to back him up here. Oh, okay, that's a nice pickup, sure. Double damage into a bottle, so for the next 2 minutes, Liquid just got this big upgrade in fighting power, and I think NiP, either way, whether they know about the double damage or not, they are going to try and stay away from fighting Liquid. Brewmaster has his Primal Split. They've already showed their strength. There seems to be no reason to fight into this team, for now anyway.
Yeah, Cinder's just going to tuck himself in these trees. He sees them coming with the Observer Ward. Question is if they know he's there, but instead it's going to be Hani caught out.
He throws down the Static Storm, but he gets quickly eliminated by that physical damage. Maybe Matu can be taken out with a Sunstrike a little bit more. One and a Healing Ward. He's actually good. Trixie makes his blink away, but another trap is there from the Templar Assassin. Doesn't pop it. Doesn't look like he had vision.
Oh, they found Synderen too, so... Yeah, it just feels like NiP not all on the same page. Like, they're trying to go for these cheeky little pickoffs here and there, but they had the vision with that Observer to know that they were making that move through that jungle area, but Hani getting caught out while the rest of his team weren't really in a good position to fight. Going for a Sunstrike kill, it was a very kind of, I think, low percentage play in general, and if it works out, it's great, but it just feels like they don't need to be going for these desperate plays. They've got a decent late game with the Invoker. It's a very good Weaver game as well, as far as there not being a great deal of control. Ooh, GH, not going to die to that combo.
HP now. He's got the Aghanim Scepter, and now it's Trixie who has to tank the full Omni Slash.
I mean, a couple kills. I mean, it's one of those things where this game looks very different. If they kill that Juggernaut with that initial Sunstrike, and if they get that kill there, with the Sunstrike as well, like this could be a very different looking game as far as the Invoker's overall farm and as far as Liquid's ability to push and take objectives. They lose those heroes, they're not able to group up as they are and push forward, but small little tells with heroes surviving makes a world of difference.
Now Liquid are actually going to pressure high ground here instead of trying to do the full coup of tier 2 towers with this Desolator. They're very rapidly threatening this tier 3 tower, and NiP were not in a position to be able to make a quick defense, and they may not be able to fight this one too. Mind Control can jump forward at any point in time, but he's got a BKB, so he will not be controlled and denied that primal split. He's ready to go. Oh, maybe a Fiend's Grip. They can actually get the damage onto him. They can stop him from getting off this big time ultimate, but they just don't have it. A blinding light from GH stops most of that physical damage, and now it's going to be Lane of Raxes, it seems like, for Liquid. They pick up the melee, wipe out the ranged, and a full retreat now. Jump forward from Trixie, 2-man stun. NiP really want to be able to get something to happen, but no! Disruptor gets one-shot by Miracle, and now they've got the control on the Era as well. He's being controlled up by the telekinesis. They eliminate him, 2 down from Ninjas the Pyjamas, and all of a sudden Liquid have taken 1 lane of Rax and are gonna tune for 2.
Oh yeah, this is not an easy defense. They can try and delay things using the Nyx Assassin perhaps and the Invoker spells, but an Invoker doesn't have that many high levels in Quas, and looking like that scary late game Invoker just yet, and the second lane of Rax really puts NiP in a desperate position.
Tracks down, melee Rax, little hope. NiP just do not have the proper fighting power without their Weavers. 2 lanes of Rax down by 25 minutes. What a stark contrast. Game 2 and even the beginning of this Game 3, where NiP were hitting so hard that was the score 10-3. Even at one point it was 5-0. NiP had such a good start, but failed to follow through.
Yeah, they never really took too many objectives off of it. They also just, I mean, they were straight up losing their lanes pretty badly in terms of overall farm. Miracle making sure that they lose the farm game by just going for this ultra efficient Midas build, as well as just his overall playstyle was always just focused around his farming efficiency. But even so, I mean, NiP get enough kills as they did. It felt like they were going to be playing at a tempo where they could just keep finding pickoffs using the Nyx Vendetta into the Sunstrike, but it's Liquid who struck back.
Smoke into Koifa's silence. Nice 2-man stun from Trixie. And, oh, Matu actually tried to throw out the Omni Slash, but it was blocked by the Spike Carapace and a blink away from Trixie. He managed to get out of that one, but it may not be good enough. He's still going to be comboed down. Mind Control came in big time with that ultimate. He's going to be able to get the control onto Synderen. Jump forward. Miracle looks for a third. Gets the Disruptor on the back lines as well. Ninjas and Pyjamas. I thought for a small moment there, with the Omni Slash wasted, they could actually fight it out, but they are just going to be forced into a good game call. Such high hopes for NiP going into this Game 3 after a stellar Game 2 performance, but unable to close it out, and will be dropping into the lower bracket of group.
Yeah, Liquid just did a good job hitting their stride once they got their key item in the Brewmaster Blink this game. Like, they felt like they had the rough laning stage, but they recovered very well, and we saw it in Game 1 as well. Even to probably a greater extreme in Game 1, where the rough laning stage transitioned into a rough early to mid game because they were just waiting for Naga to come on, Naga and SF to come online. This game around, it was much more like